Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're going to be listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing great things for folks living in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's the homeless, Alzheimer's, financial literacy, art. They are involved in so many great causes. We're honored to have in the studio with us today, Heal the Earth. We got Chuck Samuelson, founder and CEO, joined by his colleague, Lawrence Martineau. He is the marketing director. Chuck and Lawrence, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
We're looking forward to hearing all about Heal the Earth, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, in her 4th year of sitting as my co-pilot, which I'm very grateful. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. 4 years, can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
We got a lot more years to go. I'm just telling you that right now. If you're willing.
Yes, I am willing.
If you're willing on it. Why don't you get us kicked off?
Yeah, let's do it. So perhaps one of you can just tell us about the mission of your organization so we learn a bit more about you.
Make the world a better place.
That's good. Yeah, straight to the point.
Just that's it. I mean, you want to leave that for your kids, right?
Yes.
I mean, leave it better than you found it.
Absolutely. I was a Girl Scout. I think that's a motto in there somewhere. So.
I think it is too. I was a Boy Scout. So
okay.
And they're like doctors, do no harm, right?
Yes.
First, do no harm. We're really working in the food system to change the food system for better. I mean, there's so many things going on with our food system.
Yes.
We've got too many hungry people. Farmers are struggling so mightily to survive. And nutrition we're feeding people, but are we giving them good nutrition?
Right.
Yeah, sometimes, not as much as we could. And if you're at the right level of the economic strata, you do really well.
Yes.
And if you're not, you don't do so good. So that's where we want to work. We want to work in the food system. I always like to ask people if they know where Heinz ketchup is made. And
from tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. And where do they process that?
Probably in the San Joaquin Valley. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we used to make all that stuff. We used to make everything in our communities, and we don't anymore. So we hope to bring back some of that manufacturing, because if you control the manufacturing, the middle of the food system, if you control the supply with farmers, and you can control the distribution, that's your food system in a nutshell. And we want to bring that back and have it localized. Buy from local farmers, make it here locally, feed our community. And so that's where we're working.
So what does it take to do that?
It takes the aggregation and distribution first. So we got to connect to the farmers. Most farms in San Diego are small farms. They're under 10 acres, okay? So for a small farmer, it's really hard to get their product directly to a consumer or to a big aggregator. And so having that aggregation, and we partner with an amazing organization called Food Shed, and they do exactly that. They buy from local farmers, and they distribute it to the institutional market. So we partner with them to fix the supply side of it. Now we're looking at doing the manufacturing piece in the middle, and they'll help us with the distribution. And the goal of this all, to be quite frank, is to have less hunger in San Diego, to get more nutritious food to the people who need it.
Yeah.
Right. And is it a nutritional value thing, or is it a quantity thing, or is it a both thing?
Absolutely both thing. Better food. And they're finally doing the studies now that show that locally grown, organic, has more nutritional value. And they're really doing the scientific work around that to show it now. And so, buy local, feed local, keep the money in your community, all that good stuff.
So many good reasons to do so. So what is the origin story of you two? How did you get involved? What are your origins, and what's made you passionate about this cause?
Well, for me, I grew up in Valley Center. I grew up on a family farm that had avocado, citrus, and livestock.
Okay.
And then during my journey to get here, I was a chef for 20 years. I started the first meal prep home delivery service in Southern California called dinnerdelivery.net.
Very cool.
And I have this huge culinary background and farming background, and also I started up a couple of internet companies in the 90s, so I had this e-commerce background. So after my whole journey of taking all this experience and melding it into who I am now, I came across this opportunity with Heal the Earth, and I saw the job description on Indeed, and I met with the team, and I said, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
This is kind of a life 360. I can actually take all the skills that I developed and help some family farms that I grew up with that are really struggling right now. So that's my background.
That's awesome. Chuck, what about you?
We're both recovering chefs, by the way.
Nice.
So I spent a lifetime in hospitality. I owned restaurants. If you've been around for a while, Bird Rock Cafe in La Jolla back in the day in the 90s, that was my place.
Okay.
And a catering company, all that thing in hospitality, did consulting, and was working about a decade or more ago, decade and a half ago, at Stone Brewing Company. And great company, doing some really good stuff. And I realized I was making money for a couple of guys who probably didn't need much more money than they already had. And I was talking with my kid, who was 11 at the time, and going, so what are you going to do? What's your life going to look like? And realized that I needed to do better with my life. And so I left that to start Kitchens for Good, my first nonprofit, where we train people coming out of the prison system to be cooks and bakers and restaurant managers. And I left Kitchens for Good a little over 5 years ago. They are still going strong.
Yeah, I know Kitchens for Good.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic work.
They're killing it. Jennifer Gilmore, shout out to our CEO. She's amazing.
I know Jennifer.
Great.
She's been on the show.
Yeah.
She's
Such a good
just
organization.
brilliant. Yeah. They just bought a building too,
Correct.
which is just
Nice.
And so very comfortable leaving there because it was in good hands to do this work, which is just sort of that same work, but just at scale. Because the whole idea behind Kitchens for Good was that we were going to do hunger relief. And originally, we were going to do rescued food into meals for the hungry. Then we realized that, you know what, that solves somebody's hunger problem for a day. But if you teach them how to cook, you don't have to feed them ever again. They get a good job. They're feeding their family. And so this is what I think is just an extension of that work. We want to do that same work, hunger relief, by working on the food system at scale.
Beautiful.
Right. So how many farms are there in San Diego County? Just thousands, hundreds?
I think that they say that there's 9,000 small farms.
Wow.
Under 9. So we have, in San Diego County, we have more certified organic small farms than any other county in the country.
Oh, wow.
And we also have more women-owned small farms than any other county in the country. So if you look at that statistic, we grow a lot of food here.
Yeah.
It's just, why do we not keep it here?
Great.
So where's it going? Is it going outside of San Diego County? Is it going to other parts of the state, the region, the country?
I think a lot of it does. A lot of it does stay here through like the San Diego Food Shed, who does the distribution to institutionals.
Right.
One of the things that I've learned with some of the small farms is that they just have their number one priority is find better distribution, because a lot of it just doesn't get into the marketplace because there isn't an efficient system of getting it from the field into the hands.
Wasteful, and then you have to get rid of it. What do they have to do with it?
Yeah, and it's hard selling your number two and your Coles and your B product anyway. Okay, and so if you're a small farmer, if you've got 5 acres or so, getting somebody to come pick that stuff up for you is really challenging. And you're a farmer; you don't want to be in the trucking business to sending your stuff out. And so that's what Food Shed and some organizations are trying to solve. I remember listening to the executive director of the Farm Bureau a few years ago, Eric Larson, and he was talking about how we grow things down here and it gets sold to a packing house or your wholesaler or something like that. They ship it up to the LA produce market, one of the biggest produce markets in the country. They sell it to a distributor there. They bring it back down to San Diego, put it in a supermarket, and sell it to our neighbor, right? And so that's the sort of the traveling of it. So we need to sort of what we call reshore and re-localize that food distribution model.
Right. Again, we're chatting with our friends from Heal the Earth, Chuck Samuelson, founder and CEO, joined by his marketing director, Lawrence Martineau. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition, of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. So, Kristen, I'll put you on the spot as I always do.
Hooray.
And is that how much of nutritious, healthy food do you use with Declan and your family?
You know, I've had several friends, who have passed away young from cancer. So we have become extremely, especially, like bowel, intestinal, colon, all of that sort of stuff. So our focus we are almost like 100% organic. We try to rid ourselves of processed food. I mean, that's easier said than done. Also, I have a child who's going to birthday parties and this and that, and but we focus on that a lot. We make the investment because it is, So
do you go to specialty markets, or
we go to specialty markets? We go to farmers markets. I have a farm in Lakeside that I go to their Saturday stop to do. So I'm very interested in this because it is hard for the consumer to. I know there are so many farms, and then how do we as the consumer find all of these places? I think that's what we're all trying to do. Those of us that are health conscious in that sort of way.
And you're kind of trapped by the convenience of the industrial food complex.
Yep.
Your Vons is there, your 7-Eleven, your whatever. To get that good food from the farmer at his farm stand on his farm. When do you go?
Right.
Saturday between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Yes.
Or you go to your local farm. Luckily in San Diego County, we have so many great farmers markets every week. And so that's a bonus here. But it's still, for the farmer, a farmer's market model is really challenging.
Right.
You got to harvest the day before. You got to get up early. You got to go set up your booth. You got to make your sales. You got to break everything down. And then what do you do with the leftover food? Shout out to another great organization. You guys probably know them, Produce Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been on several times.
Love those guys over there. And so now they go to the farmers markets and they will rescue that food, give it to the food banks. Brilliant model. And fixing all these broken pieces of the food district, and one of the things like we talk about at scale that is really hard to do is that manufacturing piece. I mean, how do you get a 100,000 square foot building and put all the right machinery in there and start making stuff locally? That's what we hope to do.
We'll come back from break. I want to chat more about the food insecurity. We can't say it enough of how many people go food insecure in our region. One of our frequent guests at the San Diego Food Bank, of course, and the number just stuns people over that. I want to talk a little bit about some of the other things that you folks are chatting about. How do our listeners get engaged? How do they support, Heal the Earth? How do they support those farmers as well when we return after this very short break?
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to our edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years, they're doing great things in the community. So good to have in the studio Heal the Earth, joined by Chuck Samuelson, founder and CEO, joined by his colleague Lawrence Martineau, marketing director, with my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She's the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. Kristen, got a question for our friends Chuck or Lawrence?
Yeah, I do. I'm curious about Wild Acres Farm and how that is part of this whole initiative.
I'm so glad you asked that. So 5 years ago, my girlfriend bought a farm, so I became a farmer. And that's where Heal the Earth is located. We lease 20 acres of the farm. We run the avocado and citrus operation on the farm, and it gives us that sort of bona fides, that, hey, we're farmers too, we're doing this stuff, and we're supporting you through that. And so that's our worldwide headquarters at Wild Acres Farm, and it's been a woman-owned farm since the 60s, growing avocados and citrus. So it's really nice that that Bonnie is continuing that tradition of that woman-owned farm, and it's a great place for us to have our headquarters.
So speaking of that, what up with Adopt an Avocado Tree? What is that all about?
Lawrence?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Adopt an Avocado Tree program is modeled after a program in Spain called Carmen de Naranjas. Back when during COVID, Carmen de Naranjas was a citrus grove, and they couldn't sell their citrus because everything was shut down. So they came up with this idea of where people can adopt a citrus tree, and then they would have citrus shipped to their home. Chuck discovered this, and when I was hired, I looked at, he had it on the whiteboard, and during my interview, I looked at it and said, hire me and I'll make this thing happen. So in November of last year, we launched it, and it became a wild success. So what it is that people adopt a tree on Wild Acres. You get to name the tree. We give the GPS coordinates on Google Maps. You can come out and visit your tree, take pictures, and then we ship you during harvest season boxes of avocados from the farm directly to your home. So it's a great way for consumers to have that direct relationship with the farmer. And it's not really about getting, what we've learned is that people support the program because it's not really about getting the avocados. People really want to have this connection back with their local farms. And I feel, and people want to find a solution to have that connection, and that's what this is about. And because of the success, we're now rebranding it to be Adopt a Farmer. And next week, we're going to be launching our other farm, which is a dragon fruit farmer who's up in the Escondido Valley Center area. He's an organic dragon fruit farmer. So the idea now is we're taking this platform that we built, and we're scaling it out to start plugging in other local farmers. And we're asking them, what would this money do for you when you generate this adoption dollars? And the dragon fruit, which is Fortuli Farms, Farmer Ken said, this money is going to allow me to get certified so I can sell dragon fruits in the school system. The money for us, what it's doing is allowing us to build this produce stand so that we can sell other produce from other farmers, but also create an event space so that the adopters can come to our farm and meet the other farmers that are part of our platform. So that's what, in a nutshell, is Adopt an Avocado Tree program, and now it's expanding into Adopt a Farmer, where now we're plugging in other small farmers that can use that as a way to sell directly and also generate revenue to accomplish other goals on their farm.
What does it cost to adopt an avocado tree?
We've got 3 different levels, $100, $300,
$300 and $500.
And $500.
So let's say I go for the 500, okay? I do that. What does that get me besides helping support the farm, which is the reason why you do these things, of course, and that aspect of it. But
he wants to know how many avocados he's going to be receiving.
I do want to know, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to
say,
like anything.
But that's a nice bonus.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. How many avocados?
Your bonus is 8 dozen avocados delivered during the season, every other week or every week, whatever schedule you want, you sign up. And what we found, which is really cool, and Lawrence was just talking to me about it the other day, was that people will buy at that level, and they won't have all their avocados shipped to them. They'll be shipping avocados to friends all over California, all over the country, as gifts.
Can I designate those avocados to be given to food banks?
Absolutely.
So, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and here's where this is, whether it's 100, 300, or 500. And by the way, with my avocados, give it to some needy folks. Give it to food banks, give it to schools, or if I'm allowed to do that.
I love that. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
That's
and to
great.
me, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love guacamole, of course, but
Maybe we could get 1 or 2 shipped to your place, and the rest can go to anyway.
that's a good idea.
I
No, seriously.
think she wants some.
Yeah.
Well, no, listen, I love the idea of supporting what you guys just talked about. And now what's the other group? Fruit? What is it? A fruit tree?
A dragon fruit?
Dragon fruit, yeah. So that is in Escondido, you said? Where's that farm? Or where's that?
It's off of West Lilac. So it's
Okay.
right on the border of Escondido and Valley Center.
Okay, all right. So dragon fruit. What's a dragon fruit?
A dragon fruit. Well, it kind of looks like a dragon, but when you cut into it, it has this majestic,
Never had one?
deep
I have
purple
but
color.
not- yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming a very popular fruit because people ask that question, what is it? And then when they see it and taste it, they're like, this thing is delicious.
They are very intimidating looking, so I
they?
understand. You're like, how do I?
Kind
get
of like
into this?
avocados were about 50 years ago.
Probably, yeah,
When they were
exactly.
called alligator fruit. Remember
Really?
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were shipping them
Are they
hard.
considered a fruit? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Brandon, our senior producer, is showing us a picture of a dragon fruit. Very
They're
good.
beautiful.
They look nice. Are you kidding me? I
And they're
wanna-
delicious.
That's true. Maybe your next initiative can be to rebrand the dragon fruit so it is undergoing what the avocado has, and now it's gone from alligator to just So yeah, we'll give that assignment.
Chilean sea bass, right? So
Yeah.
what's that? The Patagonian tilefish, and then they rebranded it to Chilean sea bass.
Yeah, it's all about the naming and the branding.
Exactly.
That's what it is. We're chatting with our friends from Heal the Earth, Chuck Samuelson. He is the founder and CEO, joined by marketing director Lawrence Martineau. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, joined by my co-host Kristen Fogel, Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. We were talking earlier, Chuck, and you can jump in on this too, Lawrence. People don't really understand the unbelievable amount of people that are food insecure in San Diego County. I've heard numbers as high as 800,000, and we've got 3.3 million people living in our county. That's a real number. Talk about that, Chuck.
And the horrible part of that number, it is well over 800,000, is
Right.
that a third of them are kids.
Right.
So over 250,000 kids. And I want to be really specific about what food insecurity means.
Yeah.
It means that at some point in the preceding month or the following month, you didn't know where your next meal was coming from. And so that can vary between you're hungry going to bed every night, or you just don't have enough food to get to the end of it. And so parents and grandparents and caregivers are choosing between medicines or rent or gas for the car so that the kids get fed. And it shouldn't happen in this city, in this country anymore. And we just haven't had the political willpower to do something about it. The greatest hunger relief that happened in the last 30 or 40 years was COVID, when the government simply gave more money to people. And so it's just economics. We're pricing people out of the food system. If you've got to pay for rent and gas, so you're not sleeping on the street and you've got to get to work, you can't afford food. And you certainly can't afford the kind of food that you should be feeding your kids and your parents.
Well, and that also ties into 40,000 other things we talk about quite a bit here. Childhood obesity is at crisis levels, has been for quite a while now, because of the and it's an economic game for the most part on it. The type of food that's being bought in that area here. So, and as Kristen was mentioning, so many things go with eating healthy food, or so many things go with not eating healthy food on the other end of the spectrum on that. But I just think when people hear that number, they're stunned by that number, and that's not a new number to you. It's not. We always have our friends, on the food bank talking about all that stuff, because you really can't talk about it enough in that area. What could our listeners do to support Heal the Earth? I'll start with you on that, Chuck.
Well, I love our Adopt an Avocado Tree program.
Okay.
I think it's just brilliant. But we're happy to take donations. We're in the process of figuring out how you can volunteer, how to get people out to the farm and help us.
Yeah.
But more than anything else, what we really want to build is a community. But just reach out. Come for a tour of the farm, sit down and talk to us, and then we'll figure out where you can plug in. There's lots of ways to do it. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. And let's start with a conversation. I love coffee. Let's go have coffee.
What's the website?
Healtheearth.info.
Okay, you couldn't say that, Chuck?
He's trying to share the love. He's trying to build a community here.
Exactly.
Okay, Drew?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep Lawrence awake and involved.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lawrence, listen, he brought the avocado deal from, was it, what in Spain? Where was it? What country did you?
In España.
It was in Spain, okay.
Yep.
So that's what I thought on that aspect of it. And listen, we love to chat about groups like this. We've had a lot of the local farm folks on. Kristen, chatting about how good this is, not only for you physically. Yeah. We all know when it's good for you physically, it's great for you mentally. Mm-hmm. And you can't go a day and not talk about the mental health crisis that we've had in this world, this universe, and all that. A lot of it dealing with things other than food, but certainly food has to do with this. Kristen, any final questions for our guests?
I don't know. I guess I'll turn it back to you and say, is there anything else that you'd like the listeners to know about your mission or any of the good stuff that you do?
It's really hard to find local avocados. The marketing companies, the big conglomerates that market this stuff, they put such tiny stickers on there that it's really hard to see if it's from Peru or Mexico or Costa Rica or somewhere else. So my advice is find local avocados. And the reason for finding local avocados, California avocados are the best avocados in the world, hands down. It's not even comparable. They're so good. And they can be hard to find. We hear that all the time, is that they're hard to find. So seek them out. We're around. We've got avocados most of the year, 11 months out of the year. So find us.
And adopt an avocado.
Please.
Yeah, exactly.
Chuck Samuelson and Lawrence Martineau, thank you so much coming on. They're from Heal the Earth. Kristen Fogel, always good having you on as a co-host. Another good 4 shows today, I think.
Yeah.
And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.